I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What's happening? What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 207 of the Strap SZN Podcast. I'm your host, Kam.
I'm your host, Flowz.
And as always, guys, before I kick off the episode, my usual housekeeping message, please make sure you head over to our Instagram page, which is Strap SZN Podcast, or our Twitter page, which is Strap SZN Pod. Link in the bio on both of those pages there, which will take you to where we're situated at streaming-wise. So please give us a follow on both platforms, guys. Hit that link. See if you fancy the YouTube or the Apple Podcast or Google Podcasts, Spotify. All the links are there for you. So make sure you do that for us, guys. Much appreciated. Flowz, how are you? We're here late on a Sunday night recording. But you know how it is, Flowz. There was a big card. And you know, Flowz, I've been itching to talk. I know you've been itching to talk.
Yeah, we have to. A lot to discuss.
Person, we have to.
A lot to discuss, man.
Crawford and Madrimov card for Flowz. The first Riyadh season outside of Saudi Arabia. So this was in LA. All the stars were out, Flowz. It looked like a sick occasion, as obviously His Excellency tends to bring the stars. But Flowz, this was looking like a cross between like a PBC card and the Riyadh season card, because everyone was there, Flowz. Everyone was there. And
Yeah, it was crazy.
Good to see all the people supporting big time boxing. Obviously, His Excellency is trying to bring big time boxing back in a big way. Shout out to him. I think overall, you probably say it was a good, successful card for the Riyadh season banner. Flowz, I kind of want to take it from the bottom and work our way to the top here with this one. In terms of us breaking down the card in full, because every fight we said was worth tuning into. And I know that there's some fights that we're probably going to, speak more heavily on. So let's get the starters out the way. Let's put it that way. So the first fight on the card, Flowz, was, well, televised anyways, was Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. This was Andy Cruz's fourth fight, I believe. Obviously, we know they moved him very quickly due to his extensive amateur background. This was for the IBF International and WBA Continental Latin America lightweight titles. And it's fair to say, Flowz, Andrew Cruz pieced up his opponent. Absolutely pieced him up. It's funny, actually. I'm looking at the fight, Flowz, and this Moran guy, I don't really know much about him, but I'm seeing the difference in, like, he was giving me Fundora vibes, Flowz, in terms of his stature, right? Tall. Flowz, man, back in the day, you wouldn't be seeing these 135, 130 pounders, or even, guys like 147 and 154 being any taller than 5'8" or whatever. But these times, we see guys who are 6 foot sometimes now, 6'1", 6'2", fighting in these weight classes. It's crazy. Skinny, lanky guys, man. Beam poles. Yeah. That's literally what Moran was.
Cruz ain't small either. Cruz ain't a small guy.
He looked tiny though. He looked tiny. But yeah, man, this Moran guy, I think he was Mexican, had a lot of heart, come forward kind of guy. But Andy Cruz, you saw just the levels, right, Flowz?
Yeah.
Picked him apart every time he came forward, pieced him up. Target practice. Sometimes it looked like target practice, his Flowz. And he hurt this guy multiple times, had him in trouble multiple times. Credit to Moran, because even though he was hurt, warrior, kept coming forward, kept, trying to force the issue. But despite his 4 fights, Flowz, Andy Cruz, the class in there. And we knew he would be. Yeah. And I think the question marks I've had over Cruz is, it's still super early in his pro career, but does he have the, pop to his punches? The amateur background, the amateur style, they don't really, fight in terms of when they're punching. They don't necessarily, especially the Cubans, they don't necessarily look to turn their punches over, Flowz. They'll just piece you up, but not really sort of get you out of there. But obviously, I think in the pro game, one of the things is that fans like to see is, obviously casual specifically, is stoppages, knockouts, and fighting in an aggressive way that's going to get your opponent out of there. And I think we said it before, Flowz, in this pod, that if you're piecing up your opponent so badly, you can get him out of there. You can trick the referee to stopping him, right? By just being active, flurry punches, overwhelming punches and whatnot. But that at least will get the crowd on your side. So it's good to see. I want Andy Cruz. When I'm seeing Flowz that this guy's got the better of him so badly, I'm thinking, nice. You pieced him up for 6 rounds. Let's see if we can get him out of there soon. And he obliged in the 7th round, Flowz. Had him hurt badly. I think the referee was there, like saying to, walk this way, walk that way. this guy is going this way and that way and that way. And the referee, and it's very funny because when the referee stopped it, he still went that way to this corner, Flowz. So
stopped all the way to the corner from one corner to another one. Crazy.
Bro. Yeah, cooked. Yeah, Cruz got him nicely there. And yeah, good to see Flowz. Good performance from Andy Cruz. Nothing, I can't complain.
Yeah, Moran gave it a good go. I think he caught Cruz at one point. I guess it's more trouble than we've seen Cruz in at any point. But once again, I think it was a convincing win. But yeah, he's going to keep stepping up. We've just told people, you can see they're moving him quickly. Moran was game.
So fast.
They're moving him very quickly. So it was a good test, a good step up. But yeah, I think they can keep moving him. Yeah, he could definitely step up again for sure.
Are the calls for Keyshawn for use Flowz still too early?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Keyshawn's on a different
point
right
now. Yeah,
he's ahead at this point.
Yeah.
So Cruz can do a bit more to put himself in the mix, really.
Yeah. It's always tricky, right, when it comes to these, let's say these Cubans or these Eastern Europeans that have such an extensive amateur background, right, Flowz, because the program is different, but you can still count amateur experience as some form of boxing experience. So it's always that, that you're two places whether, okay, do we move this person quick in the program because they've got such a good amateur background, or do we sort of take our time like he is a regular, like any other person who's just turned pro? And we do seem to see with the Cubans specifically and like the Ukrainians and whatnot, they get moved quickly, Flowz. There's no wasting time. Yeah. I wonder if that's a decision from them and their team, or just the promoter, like, we can see that you've got it in you. Let's just move you quick. Who knows? But I think with Andy Cruz, they can afford to move quickly. Some guys, Flowz, I think they move too quickly sometimes. But someone like Andy Cruz, I have no doubts that he can hang. Yeah. Despite the program being different, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, his amateur record speaks for itself. World champion multiple times, Olympic champion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's ready for the program, really and truly. The talent's there. So yeah.
Especially as we see, Flowz, the amateur game is kind of shifting, especially compared to back in the day where you're seeing headgear and whatnot, and it was more like a point scoring system where, you touch the opponent and, you score the points, blah, blah. It shifted to make it a bit more closer to the program, Flowz, a little bit. In terms of you've got the judging and you've got the lack of headgear now and whatnot. So, yeah, maybe that makes boxers ready for the program quicker anyways compared to before. So, yeah. Shout out to Andy Cruz, though. Nice win for him, as expected. We knew he would come through that calmly. Yeah. Next up, Flowz, was David Morrell Jr. versus Kalajdzic. Is he Serbian? I think he is Serbian fighter. Now Morrell Jr. Flowz, funny enough, another Cuban and another fighter who's being moved very, very quickly. To be honest, Flowz. This was his 11th fight, and his first fight up at light heavy. I think it is. Yeah, light heavy. So he moved up to 175. He was previously at 168. I think he was previously a regular champion at 168, and he decided to move up to 175. I'll talk about why he decided to move up a bit later, because we think we all know why he wanted to move up. But Kalajdzic was seen as a tough opponent for him, Flowz. Another step up in opponent. Kalajdzic has been around the block. Let's say 32 fights, only 3 losses, but he's only lost to. Prior to the Morrell loss, his only losses were to Marcus Brown and Artur Beterbiev. So very, very credible opponent, Flowz. Decent resume, decent record, decent power. And again, Flowz, I felt that Morrell was justified for the win. Kalajdzic was a tricky opponent, though. Tricky opponent to look good against. Clearly a decent level boxer, Flowz. Clearly got IQ about him, and clearly a step up in sort of levels that Morrell was used to. So even though there were times where Morrell was able to sort of rush forward and let his hands go, it's sort of explosive combinations, which is what he tends to do to get his opponents out of there. Kalajdzic had enough wherewithal and enough ability sometimes to slip some of the punches, roll some of the punches, Flowz, and time Morrell as he came in as well, and also offer his own counter punches as well. So there were times when Morrell did get caught. But overall, I think that despite he kind of, even though he landed clean, he didn't land as clean, I think, as often as he felt he did, because Kalajdzic was quite tricky defensively. But he's I guess, him forcing the issue, Flowz, and being the aggressor enabled him to land most of the bigger shots. And I guess overall, which is what sold it to me in terms of Morrell getting the W. So I was happy with the UD for Morrell. But I did see that some people criticizing Morrell in terms of that performance and saying that he struggled, he's a hype job, this, that. And I just want to make it clear for people to realize that, again, Morrell is someone that they're moving on really, really fast. To me, Flowz, he still doesn't have the extensive amateur background as Andy Cruz. So in that sense, he's still learning, if that makes sense, Flowz. Look, not going to beat around the bush, Flowz. He moved up to 175 because he's still chasing David Benavidez.
Yeah.
He's chasing Benavidez. He was chasing Benavidez at 168, and he's still chasing him up at 175. Benavidez moved up, he did as well. That boy's not ready for David Benavidez. I've said it before. At 168, I said it, he was not ready. He's still not ready for no damn David Benavidez. And that's no shade to him. He's just not there yet. David Benavidez is somewhere else. David Benavidez should be fighting Canelos and the Bivos and whatnot. David Morrell, take your time. There's no need to rush it. There's no need to rush. You're going to get some. Chill. Fight these other guys. He's now the WBA regular light heavyweight title holder. He's not ready for a Bivol or a Beterbiev either. So I feel like they need to slow their roll with him, but they seem hell-bent on pushing Benavidez and keeping Benavidez' name in their mouth. I'd rather not see it because I don't think he's ready, but he is a good fighter, and I do think he's a good prospect, Flowz. But yeah, I just feel like with him and Ruiz, they can rush. Him, I still think he needs a bit more time to cook.
Yeah, I have no issues with them keeping saying David Benavidez' name because it's what you're meant to do, really. You're meant to keep a fighter's name. To keep your name hot, you got to keep a hot fighter's name in your mouth always. Look, this Kalajdzic was tricky, was game experienced, kind of knew how to spoil Morrell's work. No name looked too impressive, but all now Morrell won that fight. I don't think there's any issues or complaints. I think he won it. Couldn't get a stoppage, but yeah, Kalajdzic's only been stopped by Beterbiev, right? So
of course, Beterbiev stopped all his opponents.
He's no slouch. So good step up fight for Morrell. This just needs to be active, stay active. Because I don't think he's fought this year. I think this is his first fight this year, so he should be fighting more. This
is his second fight, to be fair. He fought in March. Fight this year. Yeah, okay, he stopped Barrera in March.
So yeah, he just needs to keep active.
But before then, it was pretty once a year-ish before that. So I think that's what you're thinking of. Yeah.
Okay. If he stays active, then
actually
opportunities will come for him.
No, Flowz, I'm bugging. You're right, by the way. This is his first fight this year.
Is it? Okay,
right.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. This is his first fight.
I ain't seen him. Because we spoke about him before.
Yeah.
But I guess he probably because he has been chasing Benavidez that he hasn't been active. That fight was meant to be locked in. It was meant to be confirmed. It didn't happen. And for me, he just kind of went off the radar. So if he stays active, the opportunities will come, man. And there's no rush. There's no real rush, man.
It's interesting, though, you know. I wonder why Benavidez? Because there's other hot fighters around those divisions. But they looked into Benavidez from... Bro, he's been calling out Benavidez since he was 8-0. They looked into Benavidez early. I wonder why him. What? Folks,
look,
do they know something we don't? Because
no, they know the same thing we know. They knew the same thing we do. They saw the vulnerabilities we saw in Benavidez and they wanted to jump on it. That's the truth.
Yeah, but Benavidez, as you can see, has come on leaps and bounds since
he's improved. He's improved a lot.
He has.
But even back then, people were raving about him beyond his level. So they've seen it. And look, Morrell's got over 100 amateur fights. He's experienced. Obviously, pro ranks are different.
Yeah.
They've seen something that we saw in Benavidez, and he's gettable. But Benavidez has improved. He's tested himself he's sharpened himself against other iron. So he deserves his shot. But look, Benavidez is definitely still beatable. He's not invincible. But he's the real deal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, interesting. But just keep doing what you're doing, David Morrell. There's no rush in my opinion, but I do like him. And I do think he's got potential to go far. And yeah, he won that fight. All the talk about people saying hype job, blah blah. Boxing fans we know are super fickle flows, right? Especially the casuals. And the moment you have one bad performance, it wasn't even a bad performance. Kalajdzic, I credit Kalajdzic more. Respect to him. He's tricky. He was good. So the moment you have a performance where you're struggling, suddenly they're on their back saying that, they're on your back saying you're no this, you're no good. But yeah, that's typical boxing for you. Okay, Flowz. I'm gonna let you have your moment. We can finally get to one of the fights I know you've been interested to talk about. Big Baby Anderson, Martin Bakole. The first of our upsets on this card, right, Flowz, because you've been very vocal, and you was very vocal last week about how you believed Martin Bakole is going to get Jared Big Baby Anderson out of here. And we said last week, Flowz, said this fight right here is going to tell us what Big Baby Anderson is about. If he's the real deal, if he wants this, this is the make or break fight for him. And Flowz, you were quick to say Martin Bakole is going to cook this guy's goose.
Yeah.
And Flowz, what did we see?
Look, let me start with this. Before I really digest or break down everything we've said about Anderson in the past, I think UK boxing fans, UK boxing heads, majority of us sided with Bakole because we're familiar with Bakole.
Yes.
We're just as familiar with Bakole as we are with Jared Anderson. Now, the US side weren't familiar with Bakole at all. And we said last week, I hope Jared Anderson has watched Bakole and knows who Bakole is and comes prepared. I don't think
he's long to deal with.
I don't think he was that prepared. But on Baby Anderson, the real Big Baby Anderson, I want to take you and the listeners back to last year. Now we'll go before the Charles Martin fight because listeners, I went back and listened to what we discussed about Baby Anderson, 2 episodes in particular. His George Arias fight where he beat George Arias. Ended in 3 rounds. Both me and you sat here on this podcast and said Jared Anderson got hit way too often. Way too often. The overhand right was catching him. Look, on paper, he got Arias out there in 3 rounds. But what we saw, we were concerned about. The defense was missing. And we both voiced that on this pod. We said, look, good win, he'll learn from this. They need to maneuver him quickly. Not quickly, maneuver him in a way where it's a step up next fight so he can keep learning. But he needs to sort out that defense. Move on to the Charles Martin fight. And we see him in that fight get buzzed, and have to survive the pushing. And come to the end of the fight, once again, our concerns about how often he gets hits, we raised it again. But this is where I said, verbatim, I don't know how far Jared Anderson can go. I don't know how far I can back him.
Yeah.
Because off the back of that Charles Martin fight, I said, one, the fact he's not stopping the Charles Martin is concerning for me. Deeply concerning. Look, Charles Martin isn't terrible. He doesn't
have say that's a bit harsh on Charles Martin. He's not terrible,
but he's stoppable.
Yeah,
as a boxer, he knows what he's doing in the ring, but he just doesn't have the body, the athleticism to pull it off.
Right.
He's actually quite experienced and quite not slick, but he knows what to do. He knows how to use the fundamentals. Just doesn't have the power, the speed. He doesn't have the ability to go with it.
Yeah,
but he's stoppable, and he's someone that Big Baby Anderson should be stopping. Going 12 rounds and having a war with Charles Martin. And look, at that point in time, I've heard him say, I don't love boxing. I don't need to win belts. And he was crying to Roy Jones Jr. And at that time, the tears, people were saying, this is real, this is... But to me, that was concerning again.
Raw emotion.
They say raw moment, turning point. I was like, nah, this ain't it.
Just to add as well, just to add as well, Flowz, then a following year now, we're seeing him, the Twitter beefs.
We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
we're going to get... But at that point, this is what was presented to me. And I was like, this is concerning to me because he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he's on it.
You say you don't
question the hunger. I don't.
Yeah. You said you question the hunger. You said you don't trust him. I remember. Yeah.
I don't trust him. I don't know how far I can back him, and I don't know if I can. And then, as you say, as the year goes on, we see him back and forth thing with like welterweights, Twitter beefs that has nothing to do with him, gun charges, going back and forth with fans on Twitter. Doubling down on not loving boxing, doubling down on not wanting to win belts. I was like, yeah. And slowly and surely, I was losing more and more faith with him, which leads us to this point where I'm saying Bakole stops him. And lo and behold, he gets a hellacious ass. Actually, to be fair to him,
fair, Flowz, this fight was actually... We did say this
fight.
Potentially will be fight of the night. I think I said that this is what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
I knew it would be a slobber knocker because of who Bakole is. Obviously, like I said, Bakole, look, I said last week, this is long. Bakole is such a long guy to deal with, especially if you're not prepared. He's a guy that's going to keep on coming. He's what they'll hype Joe Joyce to be in terms of he's huge. He'll come forward, but he's not really plodding. But he's massive, so he hasn't really got the best footwork. But one thing he does, he throws them hands. And unlike Joyce, they're deceptively quick and pinpoint accuracy flows with his combinations. So, and he'll keep on coming all night. And he can take a shot. We've seen him take a shot. So I said to myself, boy, Big Baby, you better be using that superior athleticism, speed, footwork to stay out of danger. Don't be trading with this guy because he's a heavy-handed guy. What made the fight interesting was the fact that Big Baby, for some reason, decided to stay in the pocket with Martin Bakole. Insane tactics, first of all. But for a guy sitting at home on the couch, it made for an amazing watch. Because I'm seeing the war of attrition. I know which way it's going to go. The moment I'm seeing Big Baby go machine for machine with Bakole, I said, this is not going past 6. No way. Yeah. But I can appreciate the attempts, the heart. Crazy, foolhardy tactics. Should never thought that way. You can't do that with Bakole. You can't go mashing for mashing with that guy.
Look, it's good in the first round. It's good. The first round, look, he was boxing well, moving.
Yeah.
But he got caught at the end of the round with an uppercut. The uppercut was landing all night.
All night.
The uppercut was landing all night.
I've never seen it. This guy was standing still and throwing an uppercut and landing. Stands to uppercuts every time. It was crazy.
There's one point, the second knockdown, he landed 4 in a row. 4 in a row. and
Flowz, by the way, these uppercuts, they look disgusting. Oh, they look nasty. They look,
Look, Baby Anderson's head was getting remixed. His head was getting rewinded. His head was bobbed back. Look, he was landing shots at the moment, but Bakole was taking them well, coming forward. Anderson's head was getting spun. Like, honestly, Every
Flowz,
shot with the jab, uppercut, killing him.
It looked like a man versus a boy. A real heavyweight in Martin Bakole. And I'm talking throwback style size, that kind of heavyweight. Massive. Like people were saying, he looked like George Foreman out there. The way he was throwing them uppercuts together. A real big hit against a small heavyweight. That's what it looked like. And Bakole just ragdolled him. Ragdolled him. As you said, walked through his offense. It's not like Anderson, I don't see him as pillow-fisted personally. He's got good speed, athleticism as well. He gets good talk behind his punches. But he couldn't do much. And, yes, he tried to throw back, but that war of attrition is only going to be won by one guy, Flowz, and that's Martin Bakole. The real heavy-handed, heavy hitter, hungry African. Nah, man. Nah, he was never going to win that way. And he went out on his shield, and it made for a great fight, like I said, Flowz. But from that first knockdown, Flowz, it was done. It was done. Yeah. It was a wrap. Because that first knockdown was heavy, Flowz. The uppercut was disgusting, Flowz. Yeah. Someone said that uppercut was a war crime. It was actually mad. That uppercut was crazy. And then he followed up real quick with another short shot, dropped him.
Yeah, didn't miss. Didn't miss off.
So much accuracy. And yeah, he popped back up, Flowz, and he tried to get to work again. Anderson, again, landing good shots. Bakole's hittable. He's big, so he's a big target, but no steam in them, Flowz. I think that first knockdown took all the wind out the sails. He didn't quit. He went for it, but he was severely, Flowz, he was severely outgunned. Severely outgunned.
Yeah.
And from then, Flowz, it was a beatdown. It was a beatdown.
Yeah. Look, also, going back to last year, we said two things about Anderson as well. I questioned the power, obviously, because he didn't stop Charles Martin, that he needs to sit down on these punches. He's got the speed, he's got the accuracy, but he doesn't have that concussive, game-changing power when he lands. His shots don't really stop people in their tracks. It's usually an accumulation of shots or him having to fully sit down. And we question these sides because he is he's not huge. I think you mentioned that he could campaign at he should campaign at Bridgerweight. Perhaps.
He could.
So yeah, look, when you're coming up against the big monsters, look, if he had the concussive power and he was landing those shots against Bakole would have backed up a bit. Bakole weren't backing up at all. The body shots he was happy to take because he was invested to body Anderson. He was happy to take every shot Anderson threw him because he knew when I land mine, you're going to feel it. So yeah, man. Look, I'm not going to crash it Anderson too much because he did go out on his shield. I wasn't even mad at his post-fight press interview. He was real. He was honest. He was raw.
I didn't even see it. What did he say, Flowz?
A lot of curse words, N-words, no PR whatsoever. But he gave credit to Bakole. He said, look, he's thankful that we both came out of here well. He's happy to go back to his daughter. Bakole surprised him. He's strong as hell. He says, I'm only 24. These other niggas have been around.
Flowz, I tell you what. Flowz, I'm laughing. Just why I'm laughing because when the referee stopped it, yeah. Did you see what Anderson did?
I rated that as well.
I said that.
He was fuming. He was fuming. So I actually like that. I thought that was good, but I cracked up. He was so fuming.
He was so vexed. Oh, that killed me. Man, the thing is, I watched it back. He actually looked so angry. He looked so annoyed.
He was livid. But that's probably because he was talking so much crud.
Yeah.
And to get stopped like that.
Look, Flowz, a lot of, like I said, you said obviously a lot of the Americans beforehand, a lot of disrespect was thrown. I was praying beforehand, obviously, due to the Americans not knowing who Bakole was. Yeah, easy work for Jared. This African, he's big and slow. He's gonna dance rings around him. Jared's a real deal. And obviously they're thinking, rah, this guy has come out of nowhere. And like, who is he? Blah, blah. A lot of people didn't realize. Obviously, they're giving him his credit now. But Bakole, Flowz, he's been around for a while. We've known about him for a long time. He's been on a crazy tear as well, Flowz. I hate the boogeyman tag Flowz, as you know. I'm not a fan of it because it gets attached to people who don't deserve it. But I do think Bakole has been a bit avoided, Flowz, because he's just a hard night's work. This is a great announcement fight for him against someone that, even though Anderson's up and coming contender himself, he's got a lot of bright lights on him, and a lot of people have tipped him for great things. Even Tyson Fury said that Jared Anderson's the heir to his throne, something dumb like that, apparently. So this is a massive win for Bakole. Where does this put him in now, Flowz, in the mix? Because he's in the mix, clearly.
So it's interesting because even last year, I think I said the heavyweight division, all of these men have vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And I think last year, Turkey weren't really on the scene like that, making these matches that we've got to enjoy since that time. And since that time, we've seen these heavyweights beat each other, lose to each other, go back and forth. I think it puts him right in the mix of what Turkey is doing. We're going to keep seeing these big fights, these matchups being made. I think the Americans want to wake to the fact that, look, there's no more bums or soup cans being fed to you on a turkey card. You're going to fight someone serious. Yeah. So, look, all the fights that we wanted to see, Bakole versus Hergovic, Bakole versus all these names that's still in the mix. If you want to get back in the winning ways, Bakole's your opportunity. Marco Hunter looks like he's hungry to be in the mix again.
Forget.
That's it.
Forget.
But look, even all these fights are available to him.
Can't lie, Hergovic, forget too. But Bakole, forget. You're gonna lose. But yeah, if they want to, it's there.
It's there.
Bro, Bakole's long, Flowz. I'm telling you, this guy is long to deal with, man. To deal with.
He is. Look,
in fact, Michael Hunter's lucky. Michael's Hunter lucky they caught him back then.
Yeah.
He's come on so much from that Michael Hunter loss. It's crazy, Flowz. So he's just Michael Hunter caught him into like 2008, I think, time ago.
Yeah.
Where he wasn't as good. Since then, Flowz, it's long. It is long.
Yeah. Look, big fights is what awaits him. And it's not gonna be any easy fight. Zhilei Zhang is out there. Look, all these names, all the top heavyweights, he's in the mix for now. He's not on the side. But anyone who's recently lost or wants to get back in the mix, because look, the champions are tied up, is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
But any name there is there, you want to earn a shot or you want to earn some money, you think you can beat Bakole, he's there for you. But it's not going to be any easy. No more easy touches. No more easy touches for anyone.
It's not going to be I'll say that for free. It's not going to be easy. That guy is a problem to deal with. And
look, Anderson, there's no shame in losing to Bakole. There's literally no shame.
I saw a lot of people saying, Flowz, how really and truly this is bad matchmaking for Team Anderson. They should never put him in with a Bakole at this stage of his career. That's what a lot of Americans are saying.
You see, that's what I'm telling you. With Turkey on the scene, there's no more good matchmaking.
Yeah,
you're with the lions now.
There's no hiding.
There's no soup cans. There's no hiding. If you want to make bread, you have to get in there. It's the jungle now.
Real talk. Real talk. Yeah, I don't mind the Bakole Zhang. I don't mind the Bakole. He's not too far. I mean, he beats the Zhang in the Parker Flowz. That's really and truly, he should be then next in space for a title shot, to be honest, Flowz. Let's be real. So, he's in that mix where it's like he's almost next up now for a title shot or around that sort of, like Zhang was, for example.
Yeah.
And, Joyce was and all that kind of stuff. He's around that mix. But it's interesting, Flowz. On Turkey shows, two of America's great heavyweights, obviously Wilder being their great heavyweight of the last 10 years, sort of, career done, and Jared Anderson, who was their next great hopeful, not saying career done, but derailed at the moment for now anyways. So very, very interesting, man. Tough for American heavyweights, man. Tough right now.
They have to fight soup cans.
They ain't got much. America, they ain't got much right now. I can't lie. Because the fight we're going to talk about, Flowz, two American heavyweights, Andy Ruiz, Jerome Miller. Because I knew that this fight would be so physical. Very, very physical fight this was. I actually quite enjoyed it as well, funny enough. It wasn't it was an enjoyable fight, Flowz, because both fighters were there sort of giving their all, Flowz. But, man, Flowz, the streets are saying that Jerome Miller was robbed. Streets are saying that Andy Ruiz got lucky with the draw. Flowz. That is the general consensus. Most people are saying Jerome Miller actually won. Yep. Which is interesting because we questioned Andy Ruiz before the fight, Flowz, his hunger, his motivation as well. And the fact that he's been out of the ring for 2 years, waiting, trying to get the big fights with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. What kind of shape would he be coming back into? How would he look? And obviously we knew Jerome Miller, obviously, bit of a stinker versus Dubois, but as you said, Flowz, this is a Jerome Miller having a full camp now. Will come in shape. How would Andy Ruiz negate the size and the pressure that Jerome Miller brings? And I'll be honest, Flowz, I watched that fight and Andy Ruiz did nothing to separate himself from a Jerome Miller. And to me, if you're a top heavyweight or you consider yourself a top heavyweight, can't forget this is a former champion of the world, Flowz. Former unified champion of the world. Someone that claims that he's trying to get it back into contention in terms of title shots and whatnot. You should be separating yourself from a Jerome Miller. And Andy Ruiz did nothing to me. He didn't do enough to see so I could say this guy's a level above a Jerome Miller. And I feel like Andy Ruiz should be doing that if he's to be taken a bit more seriously. So it was given as a draw, Flowz. I thought Jerome Miller won the fight. And I was actually impressed with some of Jerome. I was actually impressed with some of Jerome Miller's workflows. He made it rough. Yes, Andy Ruiz did his usual Andy Ruiz stuff. Like the hand speed is still stupid. The combination punching is still stupid. Yeah. But Miller stuck in there, Flowz, toughed it out, and used his skills to his advantage. And I say that his stupid bulk and his size started to bully Andrew Ruiz, rough him up in there on the inside. I've never seen Jerome Miller invest in the body so much ever. Bro was banging to the body to slow Andrew Ruiz down. Lean on him, grabbing him, making it a real dogfight, Flowz. And he started to win that war of attrition for me, Flowz, and pick the good shots and landed, the good combinations. So, yeah, man, it was a super close fight. I think while I watched it, I gave it to Miller. Obviously, if giving it to Andy Ruiz, I wouldn't be mad either. I can't understand why the ref scored it a draw, to be honest. But yeah, I thought Miller won that fight, Flowz. I felt it was good value for the fight. And he, to me, even though Ruiz landed the flashier combinations, I think the consistent scoring punches for me, Flowz, especially towards the second half of the fight, were coming from Jerome Miller. And what Miller was doing that was really well, actually, Flowz, he would have moments and flurries in rounds that maybe would sometimes still rounds for him a little bit, but Ruiz would do his little thing and then he would then return fire and then towards the end of the round finish super strong, Flowz. He was doing that a few times. So yeah, I came out that fight, Flowz, thinking to myself, boy, Andrew Ruiz, it's not looking good. Jerome Miller, this is a much better showing from you, probably one of the better showings I've seen from you. So well, fair play, because I've been quick to criticize you and cuss you out, but fair enough. But yeah, Flowz, what are your thoughts on that fight? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. So after you enlightened me last episode
about Ruiz,
Ruiz has only fought twice in 5 years or 4 years or something crazy.
Yeah, twice in 4 years. Yeah,
I slapped money on Jerome Miller to win. I'll be real. I slapped money because once again, I think we've seen. We mentioned it. We talked about it last episode. Like, look, Andy Ruiz's focus.
Questionable.
He's been sitting on the couch, wasting time, just doing more call-outs than fighting. And I was looking at him in the interviews. I think I saw him one day with a big, not the AR chain, a different one, a big chain. Yeah. And then the next day he had another big pendant.
Different chain.
Different. I was like, this guy doesn't care. This guy don't give a toss. I slapped money on Jerome Miller because once again, I thought, look, Jerome Miller's been more active recently. And Jerome Miller of the past, when he was in the mix, was a problem. his size.
We know why.
We know why. And you can certainly tell now.
Yeah.
He was a problem because he was huge and he threw punches.
Yep.
He threw punches. So I was like, look, let's see. He's lost weight. He's in shape. He's in better shape than he's been in for a long time.
If not
ever.
One of the best shapes I've seen him in.
Yep.
Yeah, great shape.
He's in good shape. Andy Ruiz, on the other hand, the same old.
Yeah.
And you're inactive as well. I thought, let me see what Jarrell Miller's going to do. And look, first of all, he's not the same Jarrell Miller. It's clear to see. Whatever he was taking, it's definitely out of his system. It's definitely out because he was. First round, I saw him try to throw a counter shot. I was like, since when is Jarrell Miller trying to throw counter shots and not swarming you and throwing punches?
Yeah.
The output was all the way down. So cool. But what he was doing was he started to up the output and swarm him and use tactics like lean on him, grapple him, swarm him, put pressure on him without throwing punches. And then in the last, every round, the last 30 seconds, he go crazy. He go crazy. And look, Andy Ruiz was knackered after the third, fourth round. Knackered. He was finished. And I think it was definitely down to Andy Ruiz's lack of fitness that allowed, I'm about to say Jarrell Miller to just come on strong and dominate him. It was a close fight, but I definitely had Miller winning. I had him winning.
It's not good, bro. That's not good for Andy Ruiz. Let's be real.
It robbed me though. But yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Andy, you got lucky.
It's not good for Andy Ruiz, Flowz, if he's drawing with Jarrell Miller, someone that he was comfortably expected to beat. That's why I pointed out the inactivity thing, Flowz, because we've said before, Flowz, how inactivity is a killer for these fighters. Absolute killer. Especially as they get older and older, Flowz.
Yep.
So when I'm seeing 2 times in 4 or 5 years, that's not good, especially for a guy like Andy Ruiz who struggles with his conditioning, right, Flowz?
Yeah.
It's poor. It's really, really poor, Flowz. So I thought to myself, surely okay, cool. But Miller, I don't particularly rate him that much. So he's a bit of I always say to myself, he's a bit of a walking target, a bit of a walking punch bag. So the one thing I know Ruiz will do is throw those hands at, a lightning fast rate, which should get him rounds. But when I'm seeing shattered Flowz after a couple of rounds and Miller's, they're getting stronger and stronger and getting more and more confident, I think to myself, this is not good enough. This is just not good enough. Simple. For you to be calling out the guys like AJ and whatnot, forget it, man. Forget it. Like, you're not at that level right now. You need to get yourself back in shape, better shape, and just stay active. Especially, I think inactivity is a killer for someone like Andy Ruiz, man. I think it's a killer for him because he seems like someone who needs to stay sharp. And obviously, when he's sharp, we know how dangerous he can be. But this call-out business and sitting on the couch waiting for the big fight, a big fight's not going to download into your lap if you're just there chilling. You need to earn it. And as you said, Flowz, now that you're involved with Turkey, Turkey's about the business, about his bread. So he's making the fights, Flowz. So if you stick with Turkey, we might get you back into match sharpness, Flowz, where you can maybe hang with these guys. But right now, nah. And look, I will make credit to Miller, Flowz, because he got himself in shape. As you said, the best shape I've seen him in a long time. And he actually showed some boxing ability a little bit, Flowz. As you said, when I'm seeing him invest the body, which he never normally does, throwing counter shots out of nowhere, Flowz. It's like, this is not the script. But
actually, it's not boxed out. It's not boxed out. Juice is out of it.
And he used his size to his advantage, Flowz. He started to bully Andy Ruiz in there, Flowz. And Andy Ruiz did not like it at all. Didn't like it at all. So like I said, I had Miller winning, close decision. They gave it a draw, fair play. I think they should run it back. I'll see it again. I think they should run it back. Or Miller fights Big Baby Anderson. That's what I want to see next for him. But I don't think they'll want to risk that for Jared. I don't know. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I do want to see the battle with the big babies at some point. But Hey, Flowz, I didn't like it. I don't particularly like it, but Miller is actually here now. Like, he's here. Turkey obviously likes it. This is twice. What is it? 3 times down in Turkey card? Is it twice or 3 times? I think twice.
Yeah.
I feel like he somehow got himself back in the mix, Flowz, after all those bans, after all the steroid scandals. Fair play to him. We know he's a great talker, Flowz. He can talk himself into any situation, and he comes to fight. So, yeah, fair play to him. But Andrew Ruiz, look, that performance is not putting up any trees. I'll be so real, at the top of the food chain at all.
Yeah.
At all. So what to do there? So what to do for Andy still? All right, Flowz. I can do a bit of talking. The second upset of the card, Flowz. The one I called, I said it.
Yeah.
Flowz, I said it straight away. Pitbull Cruz, Jose Valenzuela. I said last week straight up, I've got Valenzuela winning. Because I don't rate Pitbull Cruz's trash out. I don't rate him, man. I've said it from jump. I don't rate him.
We've been saying it.
We've said it from jump. And in fact, you actually took me down a little bit last week. You were like, you know what? Let me not be. We're being a bit harsh on him. He's not trash. Blah 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 blah. I hear it. But what I was vocal about, Flowz, and what we've been vocal about when it comes to Pitbull Cruz is any competent boxer beats this guy.
Yeah.
Any competent boxer.
He's not top 10.
He's not.
That's just a simple truth.
They gassed him up to build Tank's legacy. Cool. He had a close fight with Tank because Tank had a broken hand and was fighting literally one-handed. So because he applied pressure and Tank didn't do his usual knockout, they said this guy is the real deal. They didn't insert him into conversations we had no business being inserted into against other killers. Yes, we all knew he'll beat Rolly. That just shows how bad Rolly is. Sorry to say. But Valenzuela, I knew would beat him, Flowz. I was confident because I said to myself, Valenzuela is actually a competent boxer. And the competent boxer beats Pitbull Cruz every single day of the week, Flowz. Flowz, in fact, I thought the scorecards were even too bloody close. It was no SD to me. I felt Valenzuela was good value for the user in that fight, Flowz. I'll be so real.
Yeah.
Flowz, from the opening round, Flowz, behind Pitbull Cruz doesn't throw jabs.
Yeah.
Just rushes in head first, rushes in.
Yeah.
And then tries to get his combinations off, Flowz. Now, if you're not a competent boxer, Flowz, you can panic, you'll be overwhelmed as he swarms you, and you'll get hit. Valenzuela kept his guard tight, rolled the punches against the ropes, and then once he got a bit of space and pivoted out, Flowz, with his footwork, and anytime Pitbull Cruz tried to bum rush in, he ate jabs and combinations as he was coming in. Hard combinations, Flowz. And that's what Valenzuela was doing the entire night, Flowz. Picking him off from the outside, as you should as a competent boxer. The guy is a midget, so you're always going to have the size and reach advantage over him, let's be real. And landing those hard shots as he tries to bum rush in. And yes, Pitbull Cruz will have his moments where he's able to get in and throw those shots. But all you got to do, Flowz, is not panic, keep your guard tight, roll the punches, then pivot out of there, Flowz. And that's literally what Valenzuela was doing for the entire night, Flowz. So much so that I thought to myself, wow, I've literally got this guy up bare rounds. Bare rounds to me. This flashy jump in, bam, 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 that Pitbull Cruz is doing, it's not moving me. A lot of those shots aren't landing clean. But, yeah, Flowz. I said it. I was confident. I knew he'll beat him. So shout out to Rayo Valenzuela, man. Massive, massive win for him. He's now champion in 140 pounds. Flowz, what did I say the other time as well? I said one thing about Mikey Garcia, he keeps a champion. Not Mikey. One thing about Robert Garcia, bro. Valenzuela is a Robert Garcia fighter. I saw him smiling, grinning. One thing about Robert Garcia, he gonna find a champion somewhere. So shout out to Robert Garcia as well. He's done it again. But yeah, massive win. There was a huge upset. It wasn't an upset to me personally. A lot of the boxing folk as well were saying that they didn't feel like Pitbull Cruz could beat Rayo Valenzuela. I'm happy he was able to put it out there. And yeah, hopefully now the Pitbull Cruz train, Flowz, can chill for a little bit. Could die down a little bit because it was getting too much.
Yeah, it's not an upset in any sense. Pitbull Cruz came out of nowhere. They raised him up out of nowhere.
bro.
And started saying he's avoided and all of this.
Boogeyman.
They keep picked him up out of nowhere and started saying all this. Now look, while he styles entertaining and whatnot, he's not terrible. There's a lot worse boxers out there than him. Rolly Romero.
Rolly Romero.
He's just not what they claimed him to be.
Yeah.
And he knows that because he openly ducked Shakur Stevenson.
Yep.
Multiple times has said he will never fight Shakur Stevenson because he knows Shakur Stevenson's a competent boxer.
Yeah.
And will box rings around him.
Yeah.
But look, yeah, I don't even blame Pitbull Cruz. I blame Leonard Ellaby for one, PBC and Tank fans. Because they're shameless because they didn't know Pitbull Cruz and all of a sudden they were saying
exactly
Pitbull Cruz is a fact. So no, stop it. You know I was checking for Pitbull Cruz. And if you did check for him, you know he's not all that.
Yep.
Anyway, look, Valenzuela pieced him up, was slick in there. Look, it was competitive in portions. Just because Pitbull Cruz's style, come forward, throw punches.
Yeah.
Valenzuela was slick enough, catching him with uppercuts. And yeah, I think he won that fight and deservedly so. So yeah, shout out to him. And like we said,
I really like the performance from Rayo Valenzuela. Really good performance, man. Huge win for him as well. Happy for him.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure some people will be looking at him in that division now as food, but this is his moment. So let him take that moment. Teofimo seemed very happy. Funny enough, Frank Martin was calling him out. I don't know. Boxers are too funny. Frank, you're one. To be fair, Frank maybe he's going to move up. Probably will, I guess. But yeah. So it's so when a boxer is congratulating you straight after you win, that's not that. I promise you, that is not the. That's not flowers. That is me saying, I think you're food. Let's fight. I swear. Yeah. When they contract and say, let's run it, me and you. That's them saying, I think you're easy work. Let me grab that real quick. Because Frank Martin was quick to I haven't heard of him since attack loss. Teofimo as well. Go on.
The top guys should beat Valenzuela.
Yeah. He's good, but he's not top. Exactly. So again, it speaks to Isaac Cruz being basic.
Yeah, that's as simple as that. But look, he's racked up some impressive wins already. So shout out to him. Deservedly champion.
Yeah, 100% Flowz. 100%. I'm happy. I'm very happy with that result. We've got Pitbull Cruz out of here real quick.
Yeah.
Flowz. Let's talk about the main event. Flowz. Israel Madrimov defending his title against Bud Crawford. Flowz. I was very vocal last week when I said that I believe that this is going to be Bud Crawford's hardest fight today in his career. And I think watching that fight, Flowz, I was correct in that assumption. And from what I could see as well from the general reaction flows from the public, the boxing talk, the boxing sphere, they also agreed that, that was a really tough fight for Bud. Competitive fight, Flowz.
Yeah.
Herm was crying, Flowz, about the scorecards and the whatever, feeling like his man got robbed. There's no robbery here, Flowz. I think Bud was good value for this W. I actually don't know why Herm was crying like this. You sound like Bob. He was actually really
it doesn't make sense.
I'm baffled as to why Herm.
I ignored it, to be honest. I was ignoring it.
He was like, at first I thought in the ring he was doing it for students' sake, but then I'm seeing the post interview. He seems really butthurt over this. But regardless, Flowz, Bud was good value for this win. But it was a competitive fight, Flowz. I did say Madrimov he's actually very athletic, very good footwork, Flowz, strong, bigger than Bud, naturally. So he will pose problems. But for me, Flowz, I thought this was a very accomplished performance from Bud against a very good opponent, a tough opponent, Flowz. Bud was focused throughout, to be honest.
Yeah, he was.
He was very good. He was very good with his jab. He was very good. Bud's 1-2 is a thing of beauty, as you know, Flowz. That 1-2 combination he does down the middle is elite. And he was getting that nicely in with good body work too, Flowz. And there were portions towards the latter rounds, Flowz, where Bud was like, okay, cool. Screw it. I'm going to start walking you down and, being a bit of a bully now. Because initially, Madrimov was the sort of guy on the front foot. And as you know, Bud can fight in a myriad of styles. So he was fighting on the back foot, but catching Madrimov sometimes when he came in. But then later on, Flowz, he then just started to walk forward and try and just combination him as he's walking forward. Madrimov did some good things as well to me, Flowz. I like his footwork. I do like his footwork, Flowz. I want to see a bit more of a jab from Madrimov. I think he was too reliant on the sort of the hokey-jerky sort of feint in work to try and put Bud off. I feel that, that bit of energy wasted. Maybe could have just jabbed, thrown some jabs out there. But I feel like because Bud's reach was so superior, I feel like maybe Madrimov felt that, there's no point in trying to do a battle with a jab. Let me just try and work my way in this way and then try and bang him. But Bud is, like I said, such a masterful boxer, Flowz, that he didn't allow himself to get touched too much. He did get touched, though, especially towards, I think, the end of the fight, Flowz, when Madrimov sort of was able to have a few really good rounds, overhand, timed it really, really well, over the top of Bud's sort of jab. But overall, Flowz, to me, this was a really good performance from Bud, Flowz, and I actually was happy with the performance. I think some people were disappointed. I think, it's tough when you come off the back of such a monumental, explosive win in that Spence win where he's destroyed and taken Spence apart, stopped him. So obviously people are expecting, this guy, Madrimov, he's only got 10 fights. He's not really known. Bud should take him apart. But as I said, Madrimov is really, really good, Flowz. Really, really good. So I think Bud did enough to show that he's superior and got the deserved win, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it was a good high IQ fight. From the first round, we saw Bud switch to southpaw almost immediately, very early.
Yes. He stayed there, didn't he, for most of the fight?
He stayed there. And I don't know, sometimes when Bud stays there, I think he's doing it because he's trying to prove a point. But Madrimov was very, I'll be interested. His game plan seemed to be very much early on. He's just going to focus on feinting, applying pressure with the footwork. Didn't really throw much early on. Yeah. Didn't throw much, but was just feinting, not allowing Bud to settle in a rhythm in any way. Yeah. Like you say, maybe he could have chucked out the jab there, but I think Bud's such a great counter puncher. He didn't want to risk it. And with Bud in the southpaw stance, it kind of nullified his jab because Bud could come over the top of it, Bud could block it. So I think they were playing chess in there very early on, playing a lot of chess, trying to cancel each other out. Have them they're constantly resetting. So it was interesting. I don't think Bud was in any real danger at any point. I think Machine gave him a lot more of hell in their fight. But this one, he was focused throughout, and he respected Madrimov fully for the 12 rounds. Maybe the 12th round, he felt like, okay, let me try to get you out there. But even then, he learned to quickly respect him when he tried to go for broke.
Yeah, and Madrimov caught him. Madrimov caught him with a shot.
Madrimov caught him, and he kind of chilled. So, I think he respected Madrimov. And look, he's coming up with weight to fight a legit 154 pounder.
Yeah,
who's strong, experienced in the amateur level, fought. Not as experienced in the pro ranks, but a very skilled fighter. I think Bud done what he needed to do. There were close rounds, but I don't think the fight was close in that sense, if that makes sense. Yeah. There were a lot of close rounds, but I think overall Bud won the fight. I didn't like the commentary. Chris Manning's scorecard was shocking to me. I think he had Bud winning by the end, actually. So
yeah, he did by the end.
Yeah, but his scorecard, I don't know how he gave Madrimov the first 2 rounds. I don't know if you did, maybe because you and Chris Mannix always agree. Okay, fair.
No, excuse me. Excuse me.
But yeah, and who was it? Sergio Mora was talking. Sergio Mora was killing me all night. To be fair, he's killing me all night.
He's interesting in commentary, Sergio Mora, because sometimes he talks good stuff, but other times he talks absolute rubbish.
Yeah, he goes back and forth. Sometimes I'm agree.
Yeah,
and he's funny.
The thing is, because he's very passionate. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? He gets very into his fights, to be fair. I love it.
He was killing me. he's trying to the Bakole knockdown. The first fight, I said that's what I said. That's what I said he's gonna do. He's taking. You didn't say no. Yeah, he was killing me with that, but he had Madrimov winning for some reason, and I was like,
right.
But yeah,
I was close. I was happy with the scorecards as well. I had no complaints.
Same.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Hearn could be upset because the scorecards are close as well.
But he was saying it was wide. I said, nah, Herb was bugging, man. Herb was bugging. I don't know what he
had
saw.
It 115, 113. Two of them had 115. So what was wide about that?
Yeah, and the other one was 116, 112. So yeah, I generally don't know what he was complaining about, Flowz.
Yeah.
But to me, Bud won that fight. There's no way you can watch that fight, I feel like, and say Madrimov won.
Yeah.
Bud, I said competitive, tough fight for Bud against a high-level opponent. But yeah, never once I see Bud in trouble. And in fact, there was even times where I felt like maybe Bud might have hurt Madrimov to the body once or twice. So yeah, I think there was one round. Was it 11th round in particular? It might be the 11th round where he caught him and Madrimov looked like he was... There was one round where he actually hurt Madrimov proper. And you could tell because Madrimov was looking to initiate clinches and head down every time because of the fact that he was hurt. I think it was to the body. So... Look, man, Bud is the best in the world. Masterful boxer, Flowz. And again, he kind of showed if it's an IQ battle, he can come on top of that as well. Yeah. Especially coming up in weight against a guy that's a bona fide 154-pounder, Flowz. Size-wise, he didn't look too out of place. I think, again, he's feeling out a new division. So I think the power probably will come. He just, obviously, again, he gets... probably the toughest fight in the division, as we said last week, Flowz, Madrimov. So, credit to Bud Flowz. Tough fight. He came out of it looking good, in my opinion. Again, casual fans probably wanted to see knockouts and whatnot. It's okay. I'm sure it will come. There's still plenty of time. But yeah, so far, that's his fourth weight class, Flowz, that he's been a champion in. Cool. So we know he's on the road to undisputed, Flowz. He's trying to be on the road to undisputed again. So he's got Fundora next. Well, what he's got left is Fundora's got 2 of the belts. But we believe Fundora is going to fight Spence, I believe, at some point for a PBC card. And then there's another Eastern European guy as well, that he can fight for the other title. But if not the champions, Flowz, there are some other people around that division that, we could see him fight that will be good. I don't know if Mel is coming back to the division. I don't know. But obviously, we know the Mel fight already had Needle.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Chargers are doing, to be honest. But yeah. But I haven't heard from
the gym, though. I've seen posts of them both in the gym, so...
Good. Okay, good. Well, let's see.
Let's see.
Obviously, the Spence rematches will be highly talked about, especially if Spence fights for Dora and takes 2 of those belts. That's a natural thing to do. Tim Tszyu, as you know, Flowz is in and around that division. A guy who we're going to talk about briefly once we finish this, in the Mr. Virgil Ortiz, is also in that division as well. So there are some guys, if not for the champs, Flowz, that he can fight. So it's a healthy, competitive division, which is what I want to see for Bud. I want to see him, obviously, because he's not getting any younger, Flowz, I want to see him try and make the history of becoming a freeweight undisputed champion as quickly as possible. So I'm looking for him to get the fastest route to undisputed, if that makes sense, Flowz.
Yeah.
That's what I want for Bud. But obviously, if the other champions are tied up and whatnot, I'm cool with him fighting a Tim Tszyu or a Virgil, in the interim. I am. Some people are still calling for him to go fight Boots Ennis. I don't think he has any plans. Yeah, some people are still calling for that, but I don't think he has any plans of going back down to 147, if you ask me. So Boots will have to come up to meet him.
You see, I saw they had a little interaction with Boots. Boots was there to watch it.
Yeah, he said, I thought you were going to watch.
Yeah.
But it's funny, man.
Yeah, I think because many people don't know who Madrimov was, they might not be impressed with the performance.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. The Americans didn't know.
Yeah, they did. Shock. But anyway, so yeah, I think it will be good for him to get a name, a Charlo. They keep talking about the Canelo fight. Me, you, I hope most boxing fans aren't interested in that, especially after that fight as well. Yeah, let's not bother.
Mm.
Let make a challenge fight. Let's not make this Turkey. Let's not make this too much of a circus, man. We're
Yeah,
enjoying
man.
what you're providing us. Let's not push the boundaries too far.
Overall, though, Flowz, for you, good. Was it a good card for you overall? As a debut Riyadh season card outside of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and you know it's a good card. It's a no. You know it's a good card where it's an issue for me to because usually we wake up for the main event for these cards and then maybe watch the other. I was like, I can't even. If I watch this, I'll be up till 4:30 because the whole card is interesting. So I said, let me sleep and wake up and see the results. And so that's the sign of a good card where from top to bottom I want to tune in.
Yes, every fight I was intrigued with for sure. The stars were out as we saw, Flowz. There was even drama. I saw Keyshawn got into little bits of pieces and scraps as usual. And Keyshawn got into a little something with one other fighter. Obviously, I saw Shakur be introduced to His Excellency by Eddie Hearn. And did you hear the audio? Someone brought on the audio between them because I think the Zone stream had a really clear audio.
Yeah.
So like Hearn's obviously introduced Shakur to His Excellency and shaking hands and whatnot. And His Excellency has basically said something. So did you think about what I said? And Shakur was like, I'm ready. And then Turkey's gone, I need an answer now. And and Eddie's then jumped in and said, we'll talk after. So Turkey obviously
in the cut.
And obviously Shakur and Loma had a little, back and forth as well. But I feel like based on Turkey saying I need an answer now, and Eddie's been like, oh, we'll talk after. I feel like he's trying to get Shakur on one of the cards. Maybe the which card? Maybe the Beterbiev card, maybe. The Bivol Beterbiev card potentially, maybe. Or maybe he's trying to broker the Loma deal. I don't know. But yeah, man, Shakur, I think, we might be seeing him on one of these Riyadh season cards soon, hopefully. But yeah, man, it looked good. Didn't catch the Eminem performance, but a lot of people didn't really seem to be too happy with that one. But yeah, man, overall, good card. So yeah, shout out to His Excellency. We look to see a lot more of those cards. Flowz, to round up quickly, as I mentioned, Flowz, he's a potential opponent for Bud Crawford because he's at 154. A guy that we pay a lot of attention to. Roger Ortiz is fighting this upcoming weekend, Flowz. He is fighting, let me make sure I get this correct here. Ukrainian fighter Sergey Bohachuk. Now, I don't know much about this guy, but I'm ready to sit up because he's Ukrainian first and foremost. Certain countries, Flowz, you sit up, and it's Cuba, Ukraine, you already know. I looked at his record, Flowz. 25 fights, 24 wins. 23 of those 24 have been by KO. He's got one loss. So even though I'm not familiar with his record, the fact that he's Ukrainian, only lost once, 23 KOs and 24 wins, I'm intrigued. 6 foot, 73-inch reach, 29 years old. The people on his resume that we will recognize, Flowz, he beat Brian Mendoza in his last fight in March. He knocked out Nathaniel Gallimore. I don't know if you remember, he fought, I think he fought J-Rock a couple of years ago. He lost to Brandon Adams. I think those are the main names I recognize on his resume. But yeah, could be an intriguing fight, Flowz, against Virgil Ortiz, who we know is good. Someone we highly rate. Obviously, he's moved up to 154. He looked good there. Stopped all his opponents. He knocked out Delorme in one round, didn't he? And then Lawson, he also knocked out in one round. So, yeah, man, this should be, based on this guy having a high KO ratio as well, this could potentially be a stubborn knocker, Flowz. One that's not going to go the full 12 rounds. So, yeah, intriguing fight.
Yeah. Hopefully, Virgil Ortiz comes through. He's on the comeback trail. So, yeah, hopefully no issues. He's healthy. He's good. We just want to see him keep doing his thing.
Are you, obviously, because it was talked about when they were both at 147, and he was in mandatory position, I think, for one of the Bud's belts, the WBO, I believe. At 154, is that a fight that you would like to see at some point, Bud versus Virgil Ortiz, or would you rather Bud? I was gonna say, would you rather Bud take a different route and go for like a Tim Tszyu, for example, or a Charlo or something?
Bud's gonna go where the money is the truth of the matter. But look, if Virgil Ortiz keeps doing his thing, then absolutely, I think it's a great fight.
Would you see it next?
Yeah. See how Virgil Ortiz looks. Let's see how Virgil Ortiz looks.
Okay.
I still want to give Virgil Ortiz more time. More than anything.
Yeah.
But if he looks great, which I think he will do, he's always looked decent in these fights. But yeah, I think Bud's going to go where the money is, and I don't think the money is going to be right next, is the truth.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. But yeah, we look forward to Virgil. Good to see him active. This will be his first fight this year, so I'm happy he's being active. Shout out to him. All right, then, folks, I think we can call it a day, man. It's been a long one. It's been a good one, though.
But, actually,
okay, go
on. Wait, there's something that's been a key hot discussion all week, and
we have to. Yes, we do. Yes,
we have to discuss it.
Olympic boxing. Imane Khelif, and just the discourse around her.
Yeah.
Has been absolutely shameful, Flowz. We've discussed this and we discussed this at length, really. Heavily. But yeah, it is definitely worth discussing on the pod. Flowz. Disgusting, shameful, embarrassing is the three words I would use, Flowz, because the issue for me is, Flowz, right? It's the misinformation first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's what's clear. Actually, set the scene, Flowz. I'll drop it in as usual. Set the scene as to what, for people who might have missed it.
Okay, listeners, Olympic boxing now. How far do we want to go back? Okay, let's start with this. So we have the Olympic boxer, Imane Khelif, who you've just mentioned. And on social media, over the course of the week, we've seen clips of her being posted by accounts. Initially, it was accounts posting video of her from a previous fight that wasn't Olympic, saying, "This man will be boxing at the Olympics. Here's her beating up a girl. Here's him beating up a girl in the Olympics. Why are the Olympics allowing this to happen?" And this clip wasn't from the Olympics. They were saying this man, this trans man, that's the initial course. That's the initial thing that started.
Yeah.
And then she actually went on to fight, and what started to be shared was the Olympic clip of her versus her Italian opponent, who quit in the first 45 seconds of the fight, got down on knees, started crying, took 2 shots. And this was circulating on social media saying, look at what this man has done to this woman, ruined her Olympic dream. Men shouldn't be fighting women. This trans man is coming to women's boxing and is beating up another woman. She's quit after 2 punches, and it's ruined her dream of being an Olympic champion. This is grossly unfair, is what everyone's saying.
Men shouldn't be fighting women. Violence against women.
Yeah. You people are supporting men beating up women. Now, as you say, this is all complete misinformation. And to explain in further detail, the reason why to clarify, Imane Khelif is not a man. She was not born a man. She's not a trans man. She's none of those things.
Yeah.
What has happened in the past is the IBA have banned her from the previous World Championships, saying she failed the test, revealing she has XY chromosomes, and therefore she's ineligible to compete. Yeah. This test was rescinded by the IOC, the Olympic Board, because the IBA have been proven to be corrupt.
Yep. Heavily
corrupt. They've been investigated. They're still under investigation.
Bare times. Yeah.
They're still under investigation currently. They've been found to be corrupt, taking bribes in all sorts of form. The test itself was rescinded because it came out of the blue. It was done absolutely out of the blue. There was no proper process. So the IOC kicked out the IBA and rescinded the test and have allowed Imane Khelif to compete because, once again, she was born a woman. Is the simple truth. So that clears up the misinformation that she's a trans man and all of this. Now, as you say, we jump into your point. She's representing Algeria. I'd like you to, because you raised a great point about this.
Yes. It's so simple, Flowz.
Yep.
To me, I want people to think, right? Just think.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying this is a trans man. Why on earth would Algeria, of all countries, allow a trans athlete to represent their country in the Olympic Games? Not only is Algeria a Muslim country, first and foremost. In fact, it should stop there, Flowz. Yeah. Algeria is a Muslim country. That's all I have to say, really and truly. I want you to go and Google the LGBTQ rights in Algeria and see what they're rocking with. And tell me, does it make sense for you not to be saying Algeria are allowing trans athletes to represent their country in the Olympic Games of all places? Just use your heads. Use your heads.
Yeah, it's illegal, people. If you're slow, it's illegal over there. You're in jail.
It's a Muslim country.
You're in jail. You're getting kicked. You can't openly come out and say there's no such thing.
Bro, they kill gays over there. Like you could die literally for being gay. There's zero rights there. It's crazy. It's
punishable. You can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's as simple as
impossible.
That. And look with the whole gender debate, people are still saying she's a man and this and that. And for me, it's pretty straightforward. Look, if someone's born the reason why.
I was gonna say, can we explain in terms of, obviously she's, let's say, XY chromosomes, in terms of what she is? Obviously, it's a very complex, complicated, delicate subject, to be fair, about the whole intersex and testosterone levels, increase, all that kind of stuff. Because she's a woman, as we've been saying, she's a woman. But people are getting a bit confused, I guess, in terms of what is she a woman because she has XY chromosomes, and what does intersex mean and whatnot. And again, we don't have to delve right into the intricacies of it, because it is a very, especially when it comes to athletics, it's a very, sports, it's a very, very complex area in terms of what all this is. But we can give I think, maybe a quick nutshell, I guess. So, yeah.
So she was born with a Y chromosome, according to the IBA test. Now, some people are saying we should completely refute that, but let's, for the sake of this, we'll discuss it. She was born with a Y chromosome. Now, that would obviously make her some version of intersex. Now, the issue with intersex almost is that there's so many variations of it. It's such a complex, wide variation, and obviously it's a rare case. It's not common, but just because it's rare doesn't mean it doesn't affect millions of people. It affects a huge portion of people, even though it's very rare. Now, there's so many different levels to it. There's some intersex people who have both genitalia. There's some who have completely one. There's some who can give birth and have kids and live normal lives. And there's different types of variations. Obviously, people are born differently. People are born in different ways. But obviously, they have a Y chromosome and display characteristics of both genders to some degree at different levels. Now, obviously, many people are saying this is an unfair advantage. Many people are still claiming this makes her a man, which is crazy. But we need to accept that it's a complex issue and not try to throw her under the bus and call her a man, which is grossly unfair, because it's unfair for her to go in there and face men. That's unfair as well. So we need to treat it with respect and do our research, understand what we can understand is the truth of the matter, and realize that we don't understand this fully. So let's not make wild accusations and wild claims, because this is something that genetics experts are discussing, biology experts should be discussing, not Twitter, not Jake Paul and Israel Adesanya. That's not for them. It's not for them to be discussing. J.K. Rowling.
Thank you.
You guys don't know.
Elon Musk.
Crazy. Now, look, the truth of the matter is, when you were born, or when I was born, how did they identify my sex and gender? They didn't do no DNA XY test on me. They looked at your ultrasound, they saw your genitalia and said, he's got a penis, he's a boy. You were born, it confirmed your penis, you were born. Imane Khelif was born, they saw she has a vagina, they said, cool, you're a female, and she's lived her life as a female. Born
and raised as a woman. Born and raised
as a woman. That's all she knows. That's how no one's doing DNA tests on every baby. The reason why you're a woman and you're a man is because they looked at your genitalia and said penis, vagina, boy, girl. So to try and dismiss all of her lived experience, dismissed her reality, which is the same reality that all of us have. I couldn't tell you my chromosomes. I can assume it's XY. No one's ever told me. I assume it's XY the same way yours is XY. And so let's be fair. Let's be fair and admit that we don't understand this fully, rather than throwing her under the bus and say she's cheating or she went through hell. All of this,
it's awful, and that's why I'm rooting for her to win. I'm rooting for her to win the most. I really am.
Go on because I want to get into the Italian boxer.
I was just going to say we talk about Carini.
Yeah,
Flowz. I'm not going to mince my words here. She's a pussy. Big pussy. I've never seen such pussy behavior in my entire life. In the boxing ring. For her to say, first of all, she quit. First of all, this is female amateur boxing. It's 3 rounds, right? It's 3 rounds.
Yep. Headgear.
3 2-minute rounds. I swear it's 2-minute rounds with headgear on. She ate 2 jabs from this woman and quit. Cried, ran to her corner and quit. She was there crying afterwards and she was saying, it's unfair. I've never been hit like this in my entire life. It's the worst pain I felt. Blah, 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 blah.
Bitch for her life.
Yes, she said yes. You, miss, you're not built for this. Simple as. You can get pieced up and you ran and cried and decided to do the whole virtual signaling, that whole spiel. That's literally what she did, Flowz. You cannot tell me, I know for a fact you spar men. Every female boxer spars men. That is a fact. They've even said that's how we've got the great female champions, Clarissa Shields, say the reason why they're so good is because they spar predominantly men. Female boxers, because look, iron sharpens iron, right, Flowz?
Yeah. I
know for a fact you've been in the gym with men and sparred men. There's no way in hell you're telling me that this woman has hit the hardest you've ever hit in your life. No way. Absolute nonsense. For you to eat 2 jabs, Flowz, and quit is disgusting. You're a pussy. You are sorry. I don't want to ever see you again.
Look, you're a fighter. At the core, you're a fighter. And this is the Olympics. This is your dream. The Olympics.
Rounds, headgear on.
You said you're doing this for your late father. You've come to the Olympics. It doesn't matter if there's anti-Joshua in front of you. You go out there, you're a fighter. The core of a fighter, the makeup of a fighter is to go out there and fight. And look, it's skill-based. Look, granted, obviously, whatever. But they've put safety, it's the same weight class. It's someone who's been beaten before. The man's lost 9 times.
9 times. And her KO ratio, by the way, is 13%. So it's not like she's so you want to say you are trying to say unfair advantage. If she was a man, she'd be KO all these girls, right? KO ratio is 13%, I think it is.
She got five KOs in like 37
39
wins.
fights. 37 fights. Something like that, yeah.
And she's lost 9 times. So she's beatable. And look, I looked at her record closely. Only one person has ever quit against her, and it was that fighter's debut. Only one person has ever quit. I've not seen the fight, but I looked at the record.
You are an embarrassment to amateur boxing and boxing in general. And in fact, you're an embarrassment to Italy.
Yep.
Shameful.
Every single other person who's fought her has fought the distance, beat her, lost to her, whatever.
And not feared for their lives, are alive.
And none of them have died. None of them have said she hits too hard. None of them have had to quit. You're the first person who's fallen out and said it's unfair. I've had to quit.
Flowz, she wasn't even, there were 2 jabs. She ate 2 jabs and
it's a simple, she's lying because no one else has ever experienced that. No one else has ever done that. All the other fighters got in there on foot. But you wanted to make a scene. You wanted to make it about you. You wanted to pretend. You wanted to add to the demonization of this woman.
And do the sympathy victim thing. Nasty.
It's crazy. As a fighter as well.
And now look at you. You're doing your apologies. Dickhead.
Your Olympic dream down the pan for what reason? To ruin another girl's dream?
Disgusting.
Olympics, at the Olympics. 3 rounds for greatness.
I honestly couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe her.
You go in there and fight, man. You got there in your
shield. Yeah, man. It's nasty.
If this was men boxing, we'll be killing them too. You don't quit like that.
Yeah, man. Disgusting.
Don't get in the ring then. Don't get in the ring.
I never want to see her again.
I'm rooting for Imane the whole way. Because
what we're
not gonna do is throw a woman underneath the bus. So that's what we're not gonna do.
It's true.
We support women.
No,
We support
we
boxing.
protect women on this pod, that's for sure.
We protect-
And we support them. So
protect their mental health. We allow them to chase their dreams too.
the dog piling on her has been awful, like I said, Flowz. And what pisses me off the most is the fact that it's come off the back of false information.
Mm-hmm. That's the crux of it.
The internet's a mess, bro. The internet's a hot mess. Because I'm seeing all these, you know, you're getting big people, big JK Rowling, Elon flipping Musk, co-signing this, Flowz, and retweeting this and tweeting about this, and it's just embarrassing to me, Flowz. It shows a lack of education. It's really not hard, Flowz, to do a simple Google search and read.
That's what it takes.
A simple Wikipedia search and read. It's really not, Flowz, it's not difficult at all. We know this is a touchy area in sport. Obviously, you know, I can harken back to previous in terms of, for example, Casa Semenya and quite a few of the track girls as well, where obviously this kind of stuff has happened. So it's still a very big grey area, Flowz. But what we're not going to do, Flowz, is make assumptions without educating ourselves and lies and tweet them on the internet and just do sensationalist headlines and stories to get traction. And then you see people jump on the bandwagon. It's disgusting, Flowz. And I really feel for this lady.
Yeah.
Really feel for her. And as you said, Flowz, on this pod, we're rooting for her all the way.
Yeah.
I really hope she goes on to win. She's in a semi-final now. I think her semi-final bout's on Tuesday. I hope she comes through that and she wins the gold medal match. And yeah, let's see if her opponents from now on are there crying wolf about, oh yeah, I fought for my life and whatnot. Because as you said, Flo, she's been beaten before a couple of times. She's got a low knockout ratio.
She was on the last Olympics. She didn't win.
She didn't win. Exactly. I heard nothing then. So for this to happen now, Flowz, it's an assassination. It's a hit piece, to be honest, Flowz. It's a massive hit piece from these lot to take her out. And Karini should be ashamed of herself.
Yeah, shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Shocking behavior.
Shocking.
Sure.
I've never seen a boxer behave like that. A boxer.
Nasty.
People said, oh yeah, she's got broken. Oh, do you think you're stepping in the ring to dance? This is boxing.
It's boxing, bro. She took two and she ran to the corner and quit. Nah, man.
Quit after 2 punches. They said these were jabs as well.
Bro, 2 jabs. Not good for this, man. No dog in you.
Trying to make it like it's Mike Tyson she was fighting. Look at the record. The record speaks for itself. She's been lost. Anyway, a lot of people did apologize. A lot
of U-turns. A lot, like I said, as we said, all it takes is a simple bit of education. Reading, Google search. People are there saying, oh, I've done some reading about it. You know, blah, blah. I apologize for what I said. You know, good on you lot for education, but just don't be so quick. Just all I'm saying, folks, don't be so quick to jump on the bandwagon of misinformation and sensationalist headlines.
Try to win points. Yeah, stop it, man. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. And look, I could get even deeper into this, but let's not. Let's not.
Yeah. Let's not.
Let's not.
Yeah,
I can get deep. But
I know exactly where you can take it as well. But yeah, let's not. That's our piece, though, Flowz.
Yeah.
This is our stance on it. And yeah, man, as you said, we support women's boxing over here.
Always
shout out to women that are doing it for real and not quitting after 2 jabs eating.
Yeah, crazy.
Shout out to the real scrappers. But yeah, Flowz, that's a graphic. It's a great way to end it. Thanks for reminding me on that one. Yeah, we had to touch upon that. I can't lie. This is definitely a long. This is boy. This has been episode 207 of the Strap SZN Podcast. Once again, I've been your boy Kam.
I'm your boy Flowz.
And as always, guys, you know where to find us. Peace.
I'm taking a strap. I'm strapped up.
What was that about?
Let's make the fight happen. We strapped the fuck up.